Okay, so boys and girls, everybody had a chance to watch all the videos. What are some interesting things that you learned in the videos? Yes, Lucas.
At the last video, there are four different things to an airplane.
That there's what?
4 different kinds of things to an airplane.
Yes. What else did you learn? Yes, Hector?
It showed us how, kind of what Lucas said, but
Okay. Evelyn?
The rockets come into pieces when they're left out.
Yes. Let's talk about rockets. So you had several videos about rockets, didn't you? Rockets are so interesting. So look at the real world examples of some rockets here. So we have 3 different types of rockets. What's similar about the rockets that you're seeing right here, that we're seeing pictures of? What do you see that's similar about those rockets? Logan, what do you see that's similar? They're all launching. You're right. All these rockets are launching. What else do you see that's similar about those rockets? Hector?
you see fire coming down.
You see fires coming out of those rockets. That's right. You certainly do see some fire. Lucas, what else do you see?
You see, each every rocket, when they get out into space, they're gonna come apart in pieces.
Oh, they're going to come apart in pieces. Okay. What do you see, Evelyn?
The sky is getting darker
The sky is getting darker. Why do you think that is?
because they're going higher in the sky towards space.
They're going higher towards space. That's right. And what do you see that's different about those rockets? What do you see that's different about the rockets? Anything different? What do you see that's different? Can you see, Gabe? What do you see that's different? Logan? They look different. What looks different about them, do you think? Yeah, this one's orange in the middle. The other ones aren't orange like that. What else do you see that looks different about them? Gabe? Size and shapes are different. What do you see, Hector?
The first one and the third one look like you can see that they're going up, but it looks like in the second one you see actually smoke, so you can't see where they're going.
Okay. You see, like the angles are different. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
The way
the
they're
angles are
thrusting,
different, too.
the way they're thrusting up.
Also
Okay.
the blue.
Okay. Evelyn.
The fire is coming out differently for all of them.
Okay, very good. So those are some things that you see that are different. So let's look at the different basic parts of a rocket. These are the very basic parts of a rocket. So first we have the payload, and that's up here. Does anybody remember from the videos what the payload is? Who remembers? Yes, what's the payload?
Carry stuff.
It carries stuff. So rockets carry things up into space. Rockets can be going to the space station, in which case they could be carrying things. Now some of the things that they could be carrying, or even if they're not going to the space station, they could be carrying a satellite. They could be carrying a space probe. They can be carrying humans, because they could be going, they can have a human, they could be going to the space station, they could be carrying animals, or they could be carrying cargo. So those are the different things they could be carrying. They also have fuel and oxygen tanks. That's here in the center of our rocket. Look, they have fins. Fins look just like the fins on a what? What do those look like fins on? Allison? A fish? Because that is aerodynamically makes sense, right? To go through something like you go through water. And then we have got the nozzle. Do you see the nozzle? And, oh, I touched it. So then we have a nozzle where we have our fire, or our thrust is coming through our fire that's helping us launch off is coming through, okay? So somebody tell me, you watched your videos, how exactly are rockets working? What is making the rocket work? What's making it launch? Rose? The what? Okay, what else is making it launch? Yes.
The fire is pushing down on the ground and is
know there's force, right? What else? How else do we know that the rocket is going to work? It's going to launch into space. What else makes it launch?
Maybe kind of, it's a certain button you have to press that can go high up into the
Well, there's
sky.
there's kind of a launch sequence that they use, but it's more than a button, right? So they have to do something. So Ava Lynn was right. So there's force. There's a tremendous amount of force. But the funny thing about it is, the force is coming down, right? So they're pushing down, and yet which way is the rocket going, boys and girls? It's going up. So it's working opposite, isn't it? So the force is pushing against, and yet the rocket's going up, okay? And so what are some forces of flight? What forces are we using? What kind of forces? Did it say in our videos? Yes, Lucas.
Pushes.
What is it?
Pushes.
Okay, it's pushing. You're right, it's pushing. A tremendous amount of push is going against it. So we have that. And then we're using fuel, right? Fuel, the fuel is helping it because we're getting a lot of pressure in there. The pressure is helping the rocket go up. To put it kind of in the simple terms is what is happening in that rocket. It's building up. There's a lot of build up. It's helping launch that rocket. Now, I don't know if anybody ever watches on the news. They are launching rockets more often than you think they're launching them. There was just another rocket launch. Now the rocket was launched, it wasn't in space very long, and then something happened as it was coming back down. Does anybody know what happened when it was coming back down? What happened? What happened? Could you talk louder? Yeah, it exploded. The rocket exploded. So the rocket was not up very long. It exploded. Now, yes,
Was anybody in there?
there was no one in there. It was not a manned rocket. So this one did not have people on board, but it exploded. It was like a big fireball, kind of, because there's a lot of fuel on board a rocket. Otherwise, how would it get into space? So there is a lot of fuel on it. This one did explode. But they were able to get it up for amount of time that they needed it to go up, so they weren't like totally unhappy with what happened. But it did in fact blow up. And that is something that can happen with a rocket. It's not an unexpected thing. But they do have a lot of safety checks with the rocket. And rockets can, before they launch, they go through a whole safety steps with the rocket to make sure that it is safe to launch. And rockets have been scrapped, or they stop the launch before it goes, even with seconds to go. They'll find out things that there's something wrong, and they will not launch it because they're worried about safety. Plus, rockets are very, very expensive. Yes? Didn't what? Not Apollo 13, but the Challenger rocket did in fact explode, and it did have people on it, and those people did die. So that can happen. But they do try to be as safe as they can. So that's a risk that a person would take who wants to be an astronaut. Nothing is 100% safe, right? If you're going to be a fireman, is that a risk that you take to be a fireman? Yes. If you're a policeman, there's a certain amount of risk. There's risk with any job that you have. Nothing is totally 100% all the time. So being an astronaut can be a dangerous job, but it can be such a rewarding and interesting job as well, right, boys and girls? So here's what you are going to be doing. I'm going to show you now your job. You are going to make a straw rocket. Your friends have challenged you to a contest. Construct a straw rocket that will travel the farthest distance. So that's what you're going to be doing. And I'm going to show you your materials. This is what you're going to have. You are going to have a straw, just just a regular, normal straw. You're going to have a paper strip. You're going to have a paper rocket. Here's the paper rocket. You will color your rocket. You can cut your rocket out, okay? You're going to have some Scotch tape, which I will give you. Once I give you your Scotch tape, you will not be allowed to have more Scotch tape. So you will have to be careful with your Scotch tape. It is not a limitless supply of Scotch tape. What you get is what you get. And then I will give you your yardstick so you can measure. Now, I will give you time to sketch a design. That is on the other side of your paper. So it's on the other side. Can I borrow this? It's here. It's on your blueprint. So you will have a blueprint where you will design your rocket, what you think your rocket is going to look like. You will also have a section here where you're going to label the payload, the fuel, and oxygen tanks, fins, and nozzle on your rocket. And then we'll have some time later to discuss these two questions. But you won't discuss those two questions until after you start launching your rocket, okay? Because you'll have to think about what happened with your rocket. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about your rocket, how you're going to design your rocket using your materials. So you're going to have a straw, you're going to have a paper strip, and you are going to have a paper rocket. And you're going to want to launch it as far as you can using these materials. Yes?
Can you cut any of the stuff yet?
Can you cut? Yes. But once you cut it, it won't grow long. You mean like your straw? It won't grow long again. That's what I'm going to say. Once you cut it, cut forever. I mean, there you go. So good luck.